Big up, good. My buddies Drex joining me as usual. One time at the start, guys. Hope you're all here. Yo, GV. Every time I'm late, you're early, and every time I'm on time, you're always late, bro. That's the funny thing, bro. That's really funny. I hope you're having a good day, though, my brother. You know what I mean? Stephanie Griffith is in here already. Won't say ingenious, more like common sense. United need a sprinkling of top professionals with hungry, talented youth. Big up to you, Stephanie Griffith, and big up to Drex coming in. Don't forget to check out D Hub Sports, guys, because this is where
Yeah,
you will find that guy if you don't
yeah.
find him
You know
next to me.
what? You know what? I haven't been doing a lot of stuff on on the D Hub spot, right? But this week I'm gonna get back to it. I'm gonna get time on my hands now, a little bit, not much, a little bit, but I'll be doing some stuff on D Hub spot. My brother too will be holding it down. He's been holding it down for me there, but you'd see my face on the channel real soon this week. I think we have something lined up this week.
100%, 100%. Big up, my bro. Let's get into this.
Yep. Remember
And big up to you, bro. So,
yep.
I know you're saying you're just getting back into the things because, you've been busy, family's growing,
Mm-hmm.
life is booming, God is blessing you,
Good
everything is
evening.
good. The only thing we need
Good.
now is Manchester United to win some
Oh
games.
yeah. Oh
You know
yeah.
what I'm
Good
saying?
evening. Good
Big up to
evening. Good
you, big
evening.
brother.
Big.
George Bestie he's just
We
like
should.
the
I think. I think.
MVP on
I
the
think.
scene.
Yeah, I think we should give best. They should give Bestie a night. We should be knighting Bestie. We should be calling him Sir Best.
Yeah,
Something
Sir
like that.
Bestie. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
on the channel we
Bestie, I
should be
feel
calling
like
him
on
Sir
this channel
Best.
we ought to call it Sir Bestie,
Sir Best.
because he's a big
Yes.
one. Big one
Yeah.
in the game all the time. You know what I'm saying? And Drex, not to derail too much, we could
Yeah.
ramble on afterwards and
Yeah.
talk to everybody afterwards. But let me get into this now, bro. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just basically the brief for the reports of what happening right now. And
Mm-hmm.
most importantly, let me start with this one, because this one is the one we was talking about right before we started. And according to reports from Manchester News, it states that Paul Mitchell is due to be announced as sporting director of the new project at Manchester United ahead of the clash with Spurs. Now, I don't know 100% if this is factual, but this has been reported. And guys, it sounds like music to my ears, in all honesty, because if this is in fact true, Paul Mitchell brings a wealth of experience in finding the raw talent that is not only at the level of Premier League, but it's raw and it's not at the cost of Premier League tax. You know what I mean? He finds
Mm-hmm.
his talents in South America, in Africa, in Asia, in Europe. This guy knows what he's doing. He knows how to get these players to translate from their region into the Premier League, and it's shown with the likes of Son and Mane, and even when he was in France with other players. So, guys, lots of things to say. I know a lot of people were happy to get Dan Ashworth, at the project formerly from Brighton. Now he's heading up the project at Newcastle. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's such a bad thing, since our manager tends to have this asphyxiation with South American players and players outside of England. You know what I mean? And right now, I think from the heritage of Manchester United, we have an academy where we could always be bolstering the core of the squad from, and having a player, and a guy with the quality of this, a DOF of that level, it gives us the opportunity to fill that void continuously and to keep supplying the academy with all talents from all around the world. Drex, you disappeared, bro. What's going on? When Where'd my co-host go? All right, guys, Drex disappeared, so I guess I'm after run a bit solo for the meanwhile until he comes back. Not sure what's going on there, but I was happy to hear his views, to be honest, because this was the whole show. It was what he was thinking about this, and the guy disappears. Anyway, What are your thoughts in the comments, guys? Let me know what you're thinking. GB, as you read the report on top of the, screen right here at the bottom, really, what are you thinking about this? If Paul Mitchell is appointed DOF this week, what are your thoughts? What do you think about what's happening in Manchester United in terms of the project? Do you think this helps Ten Hag? Do you think this takes Manchester United another step forward in terms of getting back to where they once were? Well, I mean, it seems like Ashford has a bit of he has some cold feet. He's saying he's comfortable with the project at Newcastle, and he's wondering if it's really a right decision for him to make the move, which to me spells him wanting more money to come over. You know what I mean? Well, Blanc would be coming in as CEO, and right now I don't have news on that because, as you know, Blanc is always there wherever Sir Jim Ratcliffe is and Blanc has been seen at with Brailsford at the club at the recent game versus Wigan, along with David Gill. So it's maybe one of those things where maybe they were asking David Gill for advice on maybe, if they should increase their bid for Dan Ashford or if they should just go along with Paul Mitchell for now. And I think having, Mitchell and Brailsford and Blank, they will be a good team. You know what I mean? And as it's been reported that these three individuals will be seen as associates of Ineos. Maybe not Mitchell, but Brailsford and Blanc will be, they will be receiving their remunerations from Ineos and not from Manchester United. So I think it works. You know what I mean? Well, at the same time, yeah, that's the most important thing for me because, the fact that they are all footballing people, credible sources, it's one of those things where you can't help but say, you know what, finally, finally we have people who actually know about football who are going to do things based on football and not based on a profit. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a business. So while we're going to always say as fans we want them to focus on the football, they're going to have to make money. But in my honest opinion, if your business is successful in whatever direction it's going, then it's going to always be profitable. And if we're successful on the pitch and we're winning things, obviously we'd be the most valuable commodity in English football. So I think it's a win-win situation. I think it's something that's a no-brainer. It's pretty simple. It was always right there in front of the Glazers' face, and they never knew what to do with it, in my opinion. I think they wasted 20 years. People call them amazing statisticians and business people, acute minds in terms of the business acumen and the decision making, but I call them failures because if they were really astute, 18 years ago, they would have invested more money into this club continuously and consecutively each year and keep the standards number one in the world. Because I could bet anything right now. If the Glazers invested more money than they withdrew from the club, or as a matter of fact, invested all the money that they withdrew from the club would be number one in the world. We'd probably have the highest viewers, even more fans. We'd probably sell 10 times the merchandise we're selling. So, guys, it's one of those things where I look at it like, they've been making mistakes. Big up to you, Jarvis Cocker, and my bro. Yeah, I'm really mad if if we lose Hanson Oren, to be fair, bro. Like Hanson Oren is immensely talented. As much as I criticize his physicality a little bit, I still think he's got a really brilliant footballing mind, and it would be a definite big loss, a huge loss for Manchester United if we were to lose him. You know what I mean? But what are your thoughts, Jarvis? The recent reports are that Amrabat's loan is being terminated, and Paul Mitchell is coming in as director of football. So let me get Drex in. I don't know if you want to jump in, Jarvis. I could share the link for you if you're not busy, but I'm going to let Drex come in for the moment and say his bit on the Paul Mitchell possibly being appointed as DOF. But let me share the link just in case you want to come in or anyone want to come in and say their bit. Big up, Drex.
Yo, my apologies. Right where we were just talking, I lost power like for a
Okay,
split,
man.
split second. We've been having this wind, and there was a storm warning this morning, so it's been on. I was even hoping that the power wouldn't just go out anytime soon, because the last time we had it somewhere towards the second week of December, the power was out for like 3 days, right? So I was like, while you were talking, it just went out. Like, oh damn, what's this? Okay, so my apologies, guys. My apologies. Back to the Paul Mitchell thing. Like you and I were talking earlier. I said I really don't know. Not like I don't know much about this guy. I've heard this guy's job work, right? I've seen these. He was at Southampton and he did real good, right? So I've always had this thing. Okay, why has no big club actually um got yeah, employ this service, like you actually go out there and get this guy to actually work for them? Why has it been like he's been working for the quote unquote, no disrespect to any club, but quote unquote the smaller clubs, right? So
Yeah.
it didn't really, when his name came up, even the time of Raf Ragnick,
Mhm.
I was like, Paul Mitchell, right? I know a few things about him here or there. And if Ragnick actually was looking to him as someone that he could bring in, right, to support him, because he was going to be getting the consultancy role, and Ragnick was looking at, okay, I could use this guy to get to actually get into my network, the network of people, because I won't be doing anything as to negotiating or brokering deals, right? So I needed permission to be in the field while I be in the office. That's how I saw it, right? So but if so I started thinking again, like, if okay, if Ragnick actually has this, holds this guy in such high esteem, maybe this guy is good, very good at his job, but yet no big clubs are actually looking to hire him, or so could it be a case of everything working out in our favor as to bringing in a specialist? Because I know he knows how to broker deals, especially for those not so like quote unquote, not the finished goods like we know them, like the hurricanes and all of that. He knows how to find the diamond in the dirt and polish them and actually make them stars. So if we're going to be penny pinching, which I think we are, which I think Ineos is doing, right? I feel like this is somebody that could come in and give us good money, good value for whatever money that we have to spend. It's not a bad idea to get Paul Misha in. Um, he's way better than John Motor. He's way better than that guy, in my opinion. John Motor is just, I don't know what he is actually. I don't think he's even good at his whatever walks of life, or whatever his career or his discipline is. I don't think he's that good. If not, if he was, he won't be looking to hold down the director of football role in the United outfit, right? So I feel like he's way better than what we have, and I hope that going forward he would actually improve us in terms of how we want. The fans have been crying for getting players, star players, talented players, getting them for the good price. I don't like to say cheap price, getting them for much reasonable price, so that when United now, because like what Raf Ragnick said, you get players that are actually going into their first or second contract, not people looking to go into what retirement and all of that, right? You get these people that are hungry, that want to play, that want to actually develop themselves. And if you have a coach that can actually do all of that, then it gives these young players a platform to actually grow and be the stars. We shouldn't be doing we shouldn't be buying the stars. We should be actually making stars like we used to do, make the stars, right? So if that's the case, then is much welcome. Like any other person in United shirt, if they come in, we're going to support them until they prove that they don't deserve our support. That's how I say it.
100%. And like GB is saying, with his experience, United won't get ripped off any longer. He's a hard negotiator.
Oh,
And
100%,
to be
100%.
fair, like once one of these things, the fact that Ralph Ragnick wanted to bring him in as sporting director anyway, basically, was for me one of the biggest reasons why I was happy that he was one of the candidates. Because, in my opinion, I think Ralph Ragnick has a really good acumen for these kind of things. He knows the way he wants to do things, and he's German, so he wants to do things efficient, cheap and get the maximum output. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things for me where was always positive about Paul Mitchell. I was just thinking, regardless of who would be in the takeover, that he would be one of the candidates to take over as sporting director because Ten Hag needs help. He needs to just coach and get players that are coming in for his system for him without him having to stress. Even if he was to make some suggestions, that would be cool and all. But at the same time, you know what I mean? We didn't have that before Ten Hag. You know what I mean? We
Mm-hmm.
didn't have, even when Alex Ferguson was here, we still had David Gill who would also maybe make some suggestions or whatever. We need someone else who's football centric to make suggestions for players
What,
as well.
one thing I'm gonna say here, right, is the fact that we wouldn't be doing it won't do us any good if we get Paul Mitchell in and he works in a restricted or works in a restricted space, if you know what I mean. The Glazers would have
100%.
to give him as much freedom as as he needs to actually work, right? Because if because I find someone and they would have to get rid of John Mortar, because one of the reasons why Frank didn't stay is because John Mortar actually actually thought he could do it based off what he heard Ralph Ragnick say in the press. John Mortar is not, in my opinion, I stand to be corrected, he's not a good person.
No, he's a
If we
terrible
get
person.
if we get Paul Mitchell in and John Mortar is still in that workspace, man, I fear for Mitchell, because everything would be put at his table, and John everything negative would be
Blamed on
attributed
him.
to, yeah, will be blamed on the guy. So John
100%.
Morton has to leave for this guy to walk in, because that's one of the reasons why I say we can't give this guy any sort of restriction, because John Morton, having John Morton in the club
It's a
in whatever
restriction.
capacity is enough restriction, because the guy doesn't want anybody to take the glory for United succeeding again. He wants to be the man that actually say, okay, look at me, in my CV, I was there when United got back to glory days and all of that. He wants to take the glory, and we don't need people like that. We've always complained about glory hunting, even in the players.
Team.
Yeah.
100%.
So we don't need anybody to come taking glory. We need people to work as a team, not an individual.
And 100%. And like Alien is saying, I'm also super worried about this. Isaac Hansen won't sign a new contract. And like Jarvis saying, he probably won't. Yeah, he's not happy with the game time he's been getting. And I kind of agree and I kind of disagree on one hand because there's so many youth coming through that some are getting chances, and it's kind of natural that some might get pushed back, like, and it's just sad that he's one of the players who isn't
No,
getting chances, in my
but the
opinion.
truth,
I would
but
have
the
given him chances ahead of not only McTominay, but I would have given him chances ahead of Hannibal Magebury because I think he's better than Hannibal Magebury. I just think maybe Hannibal Magebury might be a little bit more physical, which is kind of
my
hard
my
to argue
my
being an asset.
consolation to that is the fact that not every player from the youth sector, right, has to use the first team as a pathway. If they're good and they have confidence in themselves, fine. If they're not going to be getting playtime at United or whatever club they find themselves, it's best for everybody to just call it quit and everybody goes their separate ways. It's not the end of the world. We like to see this kid play for us. We like to see this talent actually be nurtured and grow at United, right? But we'd also have to think it through and say, okay, if it's not going to happen at United, if it's not going to be getting playing, because see the likes of McTominay, we've been saying this guy, we don't see what he does, we don't see what he does. Even some people come here and there to tell us, okay, he does this, he does that, but it's not like it's a constant on a constant basis. But yet he keeps getting game time, whether it's as a result of the fact that he's from the academy and there's something in his contract that says whatever academy player graduates from the youth sector into the first team, they would have to play a certain amount of game. If it's in their contract, that's kudos to their agent and the players. But the truth is, when you have players like McTominay who are taking up space, it will be
It's hard
difficult
to let in.
actually see players like Hans, Isaac coming up, because if you have to let go to
In
bring
order
in.
to bring in, you
So
have to
that's
let
it. And
go.
United have not actually gotten to the place of, you know what, we have to let go to
Yeah, we
actually
had to
bring
let
in.
go, bro. Like this is one of the things I've been screaming about. We need to let go, and some the stars of today is not the stars of tomorrow, and we need to bring the stars of tomorrow
True.
into the club. And like Jarvis saying, maybe this is right. Isak Hansen's personal coach Jonas Johansson spoke to Norwegian press, mentioned that it's time for Isak to explore other options due to lack of playing time. Yeah, that's like what can you say? Ashwood Alien Tenno is coming in saying Ashwood Blanc won't come to United if they don't have full control. And I can't blame them
Bro,
100%. You
anybody
can't
that's not
have
going to
these
get a
guys
full
coming in and not
control,
getting the control they need to do their jobs
no,
in the
because
best possible way. Yeah, and you know
you can't
what,
have it.
Alien? These guys seeing problems, and the problems they're seeing is the Glazers seeing as assets. You know what I mean? And they don't want these guys to chop out these assets. So,
Look at
GB
what
coming
Jarvis is
in.
saying. No, Jarvis. Before we get back to GB, let's still on this Isaac story, right? Jarvis is actually saying, seriously, we had two goalkeepers on the bench against Wigan. Ten Hag doesn't nurture talent. Jarvis, I said this in, I think, in one stream, or I was talking to a friend of mine right off camera and was like, "Yo, Ten Hag is actually destroying the." In my opinion, destroying some of the confidence of these players, right? Because what a Donny van der Beek that has been nailed or penciled down for a loan move still gets a shot at the bench. Why? I don't get it. Why don't you just get this? Like, for example, Isaac. Why
See,
don't you just no? Let me just land. Why don't you get an Isaac to be on the bench? Why don't you just get the boy to be on the bench? Naming on. It's not. At the end of the day, Ten Hag didn't actually play Donny van der Beek for those games. He was on the bench, so you might as well just put the
honestly.
Isaac kid on
You
the
should have put
bench.
all of them fellas on the bench, bro. Like I not gonna
Let them
disagree with you.
give.
I
Yeah, let them.
agree. Like
Let
I
them.
find like our
So
bench should be for even in the Premier League, bro. I've been 100% honest, right? I feel like we should have Dan go on our bench regularly. He should come
And I
into
don't know
games.
why. I don't know
And I,
why Ten Hag to me doesn't fill me with much confidence lately, because why his stance and his takes on Onana staying, why he should be at AFCON is
yeah,
something.
but you see, all
No, no,
right,
no.
let's put it like
There's
this,
no
right?
way. There's no way you're gonna rectify that would
No,
make
bro,
sense
listen,
to
let me
me.
tell you something, bro. Let me tell you something, right? You have to remember two things, right? What player want and what the manager want, what the club want, and all those things are different. Have to align. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And like, this is why you see, like, okay, he was defending Rashford for the entire part of the season, 18 games or rubbish. He was defending Rashford, believing in him. What if he wasn't defending Rashford and Rashford act just like Jaden Sancho?
The man was going to put. Well, listen. The
No,
man
I
was
just
going
I
to
just
put.
giving you
No,
listen,
remind
I
it.
just giving you a
No, before
perspective, right?
let me give you. Let me put a mirror in front of that perspective. The man was going to actually criticize some of his players. Remember when he said he most of his players have the mentality of an eggshell, right? Because just one swipe at one of them, right? They folded. So he's looking
Exactly.
at. So he's looking at. Okay.
Exactly.
So
So
he's
so
looking at. I
understand
know
so
what.
understand
Okay.
from that perspective, right? From that
Mhm.
perspective, if you look at it from that perspective, right? Imagine bringing youth into the team and starting them ahead of some of them fellas. What
No,
going
but
to
if
happen? No, it
no,
go. No,
but
understand? No, I agree with you. No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not
okay.
disagreeing with Jarvis. I'm not disagreeing with Alien. I believe that more youth. Now, at the same time, while I saying, look, we had five youth players in the 11 that finished the game against Liverpool. Five, which is unheard of for a Premier League team to have in a starting
But that
lineup
was as a
from
result
their
of the
academy.
injuries, not
Right.
because
Now,
he
now
wanted to do
understand
it.
something. Now understand
Okay.
something. For me, that is plenty. And if those five are the only five getting chances, most of the chances this season, I am fine with that. At the end of the day, I understand we have a lot more youth coming through, and some of these players needed to be moved on. They weren't moved on, so now they're here. So it's like a situation where it's either he get these ones upset or he get those ones upset. You know. Now I for the side with the youth because the youth offer unpredictability. They offer change, they offer energy, they offer something different. You know what I mean? You never know what could happen, but mostly it's be positive. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because they are
I
willing and
understand. I
they're ready
like
to
like
fight.
in the like in the
But
case of Isaac, before we drop it, right? In the case of
mm,
Isaac, I feel like if he had put this boy on the bench in place of Donny van der Beek, you're gone by, right? Because he said it. Tenax, I don't know how true it is, but I read a quote about Tenax saying when he came in, Donny van der Beek wasn't the Donny van der Beek he used to have at Ajax. So if you know, I know I read this, right? So if you know that Donny van der Beek wasn't cutting it out and you already had a deal in place for him to go, giving that spot to maybe a Joe Hugel or an Isaac, right, would have given these young kids another perspective as to, okay, I've left the youth team, I'm on the bench. Where's the next place for me after the bench? The pitch for the first team. So it would have now we won't be hearing
true.
things. We won't be hearing. We might have been hearing that, okay, he's still not happy with not playing, but at least he's on the bench, right? Some people can actually say, some people that actually are close to him can actually say, take it easy, bro. Take it easy, kid. You're on the bench. The next step from the bench is the pitch. So just be grateful you're on the bench and maybe work your way out from that spot. I get it, but that's what I'm saying. Ten Hag lately, his decision making is as bad as that of Rashford. That's that's that's
True.
that's right now. See, I the comment you posted up earlier. Let me see if I can get it when he says about, I think it was earlier on Tenor that was saying something about I can't find it, man. But
We were
yeah,
saying.
he said we should have 4 youth players within the full squad playing now. Get Alvaro back. Sure is washed. We
Yeah,
all
that's what I just
agree.
had up there.
Maybe
Okay.
even drop earlier and see. I wouldn't. I agree with the Alvaro one, but at the moment, right? Why I wouldn't? I've seen Joy Hugo play, right? I think if for me, Hugo should have been on the bench again. I think he was on the bench against Wigan. To me, he should have come on.
Hmm.
See, I look at these games as, okay, what would we had Varane, we had Evans, we had Aaron Wan-Bissaka, we had Dalot, we had Onana,
Hmm.
right? Defense wise, we were solid. We had the experience head defense wise. Now we had a 17 or 18-year-old Maino and what's his name, Bruno in the mid. I don't like counting McTominay because he doesn't do anything, right? So in the midfield, I feel like, okay, we still have some level of creativity. So bringing knowing fully well that Ireland was ill in the last game, maybe start Ireland after like 60 minutes, bring in the Hugo kid. But that would have be see, because now players, the one of the kids are seeing Ganacho play steadily, are seeing Maino coming off the bench to do his bit. They see Kambuala get his time as well, right? Now, if players like Ugil and Isak get, even if it's a 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or even less than 2-3 minutes, right? It gives them this hope of, okay, there's something. But Ten Hag just at the
You
moment, I
see,
feel like Ten Hag is playing to keep his job as to actually do
all right.
what he was
In my
hired to do.
opinion, this I look at it from this perspective. I think Ten Hag, yeah, he learning the league still, so I don't think I think the league, in all honesty, any manager come into the league, they would face an up and down turn. You know what I mean? Because this league, funny, it's one of the leagues that is, in my opinion, it'll have nothing like the Premier League unless it's the Champions League. You know what I mean? And the Premier League is super competitive, and teams is just evolve. Even the teams that you think are bottom feeder teams, they just come up and they just perform well. They just up the ante. You know what I mean? And the basic level and standard of football going to be this around almost every team in the Premier League. It getting like this halfway. You know what I mean?
I
Every
know,
team
but
have an average performance.
you wouldn't know
So
how a kids perform in
yeah,
a
but
high
listen,
profile game
understand what
if
I'm
you don't
saying,
try
bro.
them in.
Understand what I'm saying, bro. You see, for me to say that Eric Ten Hag don't know anything about the Boss Beat Babes identity and thing, I would be being false. When you see, for whatever reason it is, it have 5 youngsters ending up in a game against Liverpool that we need to get a result from. You know what I mean? You see, the game against Wigan for me is a big problem. I would blame players like Rashford and Bruno and Hoyland and Garnacho for not scoring all the chances that they had so that they could allow for the young players to come on. Because let's just flip the switch on this perspective. If let's just say he make 4 substitutions and bring on all the youth, we're gonna went on to score and equalize at the end and equalize at the end of the game. What would be the conversation? We were only 2 goals up. He bring on a set of youth instead of closing off the game. You know what I mean? So it's
But
like
guess what? He's
at,
done
at
it
this
before
point you can't please
against
United
Villa.
fans, really.
Against Villa, 3-2 up. He brought Gore and Hannibal to see out the game.
Right,
And
but Gore,
Kambuala.
I
He brought
understand.
3 youths.
Gore was sick, so I think Gore. You see, I looking at it from if you remember the preseason games, right? Look at the players who received the most minutes in preseason. Those players were Gore, Garnacho, Alvaro Fernandez, Kobe
Meno.
Menu,
Mm-hmm.
right? The four of them received the most minutes out of any player, first team or young player that was in preseason this season. So what I say to you, those four players are in his plans. Those four players are meant to be in the first team. At some point or the other, they are meant to be in the first team. Those four. You know what I mean? The others who received as much game time as Forson, Isaac Hansen, Joe Hugel, those three in another line together with game
Well,
time.
let me just address this Sir Bestie's comment. He says Isaac reminds me of when Pogba said he should play ahead of schools. And see, but Bestie, look at it now. Look at it. But we gave we gave Pogba to Juventus for free and bought him for 89 and later gave him back for free. It's if we're gonna be going by this your take, right? It means that there's something in that boy that we might end up regretting later. I'm not saying that he
No,
has to.
yeah,
No, no, no. I'm not. No, hear me out. I'm not saying that he has to play because I just earlier I stated that if the pathway to the first team is not there, then you don't stunt your growth. Rather, you go somewhere else and actually build yourself and be the player, so that when United look at you, I'm like, okay, next time, or learn from their mistake. That's because, in all honesty, it feels like United are not learning from any mistake of the past. They just keep piling mistake upon mistake and upon mistake, right? But we're coming down on the coach. Coach wants to get result. Players wants to the coach. One of my big concern about the coach is the fact that he has not been able to tell these players that we are a team. He keeps saying it in press conference and whatever interview he has, but he doesn't imbibe it in these players. Players still wants
Mhm.
to do Players still wants to do they're still looking for the hero. They want to to be the savior of the
Yeah,
day.
but that don't mean that's his fault,
But we
bro. You
s-
could
no, but we s- no,
listen,
but
listen
when
to
you're
me,
saying
right?
something, okay,
It's like saying this, bro. I just want to draw a reference state, right? Look at this. Like I agree with Jarvis, right? Maybe he should not have penalized Isak for speaking out and asking for more opportunities, right? But to say you have a knack for falling out with players, like
oh, he does, oh, he
no, bro,
does,
I
oh, he
wouldn't say that's a
does.
knack. Listen, I just putting it like this, right? We had a different type of manager before. The entire everybody at the club accustomed to people who kissing them, who kissing up to them, and all nice, always nice. Is always yes. Is always yes. Oh, sure, no problem. Go on vacation to Dubai. 3-4 times during the season. Every other week while go to Dubai, go on vacation, go here, go there. And Ten Hag now saying no. And some of these guys don't like that. They find that they should get their way. And now, I've been honest, as a young player, if you feel you are better, then maybe you should make a move. And like I would say this to Isaac, I think he's very talented. I think he deserves to get a chance. But at some point in time, is have to bide your time and be patient. It has something called paying dues. And none of these youngsters in pay dues yet. Isak Hansen didn't pay any dues to say he earned a start at Manchester United yet. What dues he paid? Understand what I'm saying? Kobe Mainu
No,
paying his dues still right now as we speak. Every game his performances is 7 out of 7 at least. And that's him paying dues. Sometimes that's just how it is, bro. Like when I started out as a song engineer, I used to have to intern at a studio for free. And while you're going to college and you're in your second year of
no,
college, studying sound engineering and you're the intern. It's the
Mark,
same
under,
thing, bro.
Mark, I don't disagree with that. I do not disagree. I'm up for a place of where you have to do some sacrifice and pay your dues and all. I'm up for that. But I'm saying in football, in this sport, the world of sports, right? When you see a below par player taking up space, now remember the time of Lingard and preseason Perlo and the case of Lingard and that guy. I think we had somebody else in the midfield, right? When Andre Gomez was itching to play, right? We saw
Yeah.
how he didn't get his time. We also saw how
Wasn't ready.
I know he wasn't ready. I don't, I'm not. I'm just saying. I'm drawing comparison to how McTominay and Lingard. We also no sorry, precision Pello. they were not performing at the level we wanted them to. But the manager at that time wouldn't just try out somebody different. It's the same thing. So
Yeah,
if
but
you
that's yeah,
no,
but
bro, listen,
listen.
listen, listen, listen. It's the same thing. When now listen, look at the case of Sancho. I'm not saying no disrespect here to anybody, right? I know Sancho has disrespected the fans, but I'm not trying to disrespect you guys more. I'm just saying, look at the case of Sancho, right? The season started, the preseason, this coach decided to use Sancho as a false nine, right? Play the kid as a false nine. Season started, you tossing him back to the right. This man already has his
No
hope and his
matter
own.
wherever you play, you had to play, bro. That's listen. I see all this empathetic nonsense, bro.
No,
I know
but
football.
no, I haven't
Nah,
landed my
bro.
point.
That
I haven't
have
landed my
nothing to
point.
do with
I
football. What you're
haven't
talking
landed my
about it. That
point.
is
My point is
excuses, bro.
Rashford wasn't cutting it out, but you
Bro,
couldn't
all
drop
right. Well, then
Rashford
that's the problem.
because
That is the
that's the
problem.
thing.
So,
So
so, so, so
when you have
understand what I'm saying,
players,
right? Understand what I'm saying about that, right? We looking at it from this perspective. We seeing all he needed to do is drop Rashford, right? But
and
as any
give
business,
somebody the
and
chance.
give Sancho a chance, right? I thought he would have done that by game two. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? Isaiah Rashford, people will say Isaiah Rashford hater. So I just, I say that. But at the same time, you gotta look at it from the perspective of we don't know what's going on in behind the scenes. We don't know what these players in their contracts. We don't know what's happening. We don't know what is the status quo. We don't know if he have to play players for a certain amount of games or start players in a certain amount of games. We don't know all of those things, right? So, but so these are mistakes, and we could criticize him, rightfully so. Criticize him for it because I don't agree with it either. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't say based off of those things that I disagree with that means that he inadequate or he inept for some reason. You know what I mean? I would more say that look, maybe it's just a tough luck for Isak Hansen. You know what I mean? Like,
No,
look
honestly,
at it like this, right?
I think it's a tough luck. I just think it's a tough
Yeah,
luck. It's not,
because I
but
had like Zidane Iqbal, right? I was watching the academy for the last couple of years. I like Zidane Iqbal. But one thing I always find with Zidane Iqbal is he have a kind of attitude. Like, if things not going his way, he start to fret and he's talk a certain kind of way, like he thinks himself really highly of himself. You know what I mean? And when Eric Ten Hag, when I see he wasn't getting a certain amount of game time last season, I was like, he gonna leave. Because he want to play more games. The way he was talking in interviews and stuff like that, it was like he think he deserved to start. And like sometimes, bro, it's like the team changing, it don't have much consistency. So it's like hard to say, well, we go and start youth and could start youth consistently.
bro,
Because first we had to find some form of consistency with the senior players. Because
I
remember,
don't have a
the
problem
senior
with
players getting a senior wage.
I don't have a problem, right, with all of that, but I'm just saying that the manager should be able to know when to be inclusive, not just be restricted and yes, that's how I see him. That's how I see him, honestly. Right from the minute he started. Now you want first of all, you wanted Aaron Bissaka out. You came in and said you wanted AW to be sold, but they couldn't get the place for him. You ended up using him. Now you forward down to this season, right? No, it was time to actually summer came. Everybody was thinking, okay, you're gonna let Aaron Wan-Bissaka leave, but you said, guess what? I'm gonna use him. So what was it? Why didn't you have patience in trying to build this player to be what you wanted rather than just come in and say, get out? No, the same thing he did for
No,
Maguire.
listen.
No,
That's
let
you
me
see,
finish.
that's way wrong there. Aaron Wan-Bissaka wanted to leave United. It had nothing to do with Eric Ten Hag.
It's 10. Oh my
Bro.
days.
Let me tell you
We
something, and I will pull up the article tomorrow, and I will send it to you. Aaron Wan-Bissaka had issues with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in terms of game time, and when Ralph Ragnick came in, he was not getting much game time, so he decided he wanted to leave the club. And when Eric Ten Hag came in, Eric Ten Hag said, give him some time. It's like he asked Pogba to give him time. He asked some players who left to give him time. And they was like, no, we want to go. Pogba's
truth be
out in the media talking a set of rubbish about, Man United never offer him nothing.
no,
The manager, Eric Ten Hag,
I
had a
know
meeting with him
I
and
know
said to
Pogba was
Pogba, listen, I would like you to stay at the club. We will get you back. We will give you time to rest and get back fitness and thing. And you'll get back game time and everything. And Pogba said, nah, he ready to go. And he went. So
see
kudos to him.
the story with
Same thing
Pogba.
with
I knew
Jaden,
was a
bro.
smoke screen into.
Bye-bye.
But the
Right?
truth
I
is,
have no...
no.
all
Let's look.
that...
Let's let's call a spade and not just a garden tool, right? A spade is a spade.
100%.
This manager is too restrictive in his ways.
Maybe that's
I
what we.
maybe
Maybe it's a
that's it.
different direction,
That
though.
is who he is. I'm not faulting him for that.
Probably.
That is who he is,
Probably,
right? But the sooner he start giving us is like making his plan clear to us, right? The better, because most of these things that he's doing, I understand. I've seen most of these things that he's doing is not helping him in any way, shape, or form.
bro.
It's just
Listen,
it's just
you
piling up
have
the
to
pressure
remember
on
something,
him.
right? If put it like this, right? And I want you to understand something. There's a complex dynamic that going on in a football club, right? Because put it like this, Jaden Sancho fell out with coaches in the coaching staff. I could tell you straight up, he fell out with how his name? What's his name?
Steve
McLaren. He and
McLaren.
McLaren fall out, right? And you know McLaren, everybody know McLaren is a Rashford fanboy, right? He and McLaren fall out, and since he and McLaren fall out is when the whole talk come up on the media where he have to apologize publicly. It was never with Ten Hag, bro. I keep telling man, like it was never with he fell out with one of the coaches in the coaching staff. It was Steve McLaren, right? It's like Steve McLaren was reported telling men like he was telling Bruno to come and clap off the away fans or something like that on Talk Sport. When in fact, when they pull up a video of it, he was never telling Bruno anything. He was calling another player. And the same time, Bruno was already walking off the field, clapping the fans. But the camera at that point, when he hand dropped down, is when the camera panned to him. You know what I
So
mean?
who got
Bro,
McLaren as part of his coaching setup?
well, right, but at the same time, bro, you can't. It's like this. Not everybody gonna have be able to
I
agree and disagree
understand.
at the
I
same time and have the
understand that
same emotions
position.
and
I understand that.
compatibility. So
I
you always
understand
go
that
and have a
sentiment.
sort of
I
plus yeah, and like
understand that.
and I agree with Alien. He need to change. He need to change. He need to be not be so rigid. But maybe put it like this, right?
Stephanie,
I
you're
trusted,
100% right. Stephanie, you're 100% because I don't see what that guy does. And 5 managers or whatever, 3 managers, because he came in the light during Mourinho's time, right? Mourinho, Ole, they've
bro.
all. I don't know, man.
That
I
is
don't
why
know.
I was never Mourinho out, but I was secretly happy when he was out because I thought McTominay would have get sacked with him. Because I hated McTominay, bro, from the first moment he come into United team. I never wanted to see him play football.
Yep,
Be honest, you know what I
bro,
mean?
man.
He was just average, bro. And
It's a
and like I'm being honest with man, like everybody need to check themselves. It's like, look at all the criticism Anthony gained. And I'm not saying that it's not justified, right? I'm not saying it's not justified for his performances. I'm just saying look at it from this perspective. Rashford doing that for the last 8 years. He had an okay season, utter rubbish the next season. Okay
mhm.
season, utter rubbish
So
the next
so
season. Okay season,
if you were
utter
saying
rubbish.
Rashford
So
now, if you
what I'm saying is, right, if you compare Marcus Rashford first 6 seasons,
mhm.
he probably had the same output as Anthony in the Premier League only. If you
So
class it as he had,
yeah,
because
are
he
you
never
saying
scored more than 10 goals but twice
okay, are
in
you
a Premier
saying
League
now,
season.
are you saying now that now I know your stance on Marcus Rashford, he should be sold, right? So if Marcus Rashford is
100%.
having like a yo-yo season, back and forth, right? Don't you think Anthony should be sold as well?
Yeah. So that's what I'm
Okay.
saying. So I'm saying now, if we all here saying Anthony is to be sold, then
No, of course.
the first player out the door need to be
No, no,
Rashford.
no.
Then
Honestly.
Anthony behind him. No, understand what I'm saying?
See,
Based on the eight
let,
years of the same performance that Anthony given we've seen from Marcus Rashford, he needs to be the first player out the door. He's the most senior attacker in the squad and he cannot be depended upon. He cannot even be an example for the younger players like Pelestri, like Garnacho. This is why we have to send them out on loan.
I wanna talk to Box here. I think Box is making a comment about Sancho could or should have apologized if he didn't mean it, right? Even if he
Exactly,
didn't
bro.
mean it, we've seen Maguire. But now somebody he also made a comment and saying for sure there's no advisor. I kept asking my own younger brother. Like we run our like we both have the channel, right? Day of Sports, and I keep asking him this question: Does it is it that Sancho doesn't have parents to actually advise him on what to do.
Bro, it's not that,
Because
bro. Let me
no,
tell you
no, no.
something.
Let me
It's
land. I'm bringing it here. I'm not disrespecting any parent or anything. I'm bringing it here, right? Because if I do something and I'm out of a job, right? If I do something and I'm out of a job, although I still get paid, and my brother finds out, or my sister finds out, or my parent finds out, right? They're calling me to find out exactly what happened. And I'm telling them my side of the story, right? But they see what I did in response to my side of the story. They should be telling me, okay, you know what, you were wrong at that. Even if your side of the story is holding water, but you were wrong to react the way you reacted. About you just apologize, because I feel like there's no true advisor to Sanchez. I feel like everybody is just telling him, you're right, you're in your right, you're in your right to do what you did, you're in your right to do what you did, hold your ground, hold firm, hold firm, hold firm. As long as you still people use this, oh, you have a contract, they can't do anything to you, you have a contract, they can't do anything to you. So I think he's got, like what Box is saying, which is for true. There's no serious advisor to actually tell
bro,
him.
like, listen, and this is what I'm trying to tell you, bro. And this is why I wanted to start and explain you the mentality of a Trini, right? Stubborn, hard-headed, bro. When they feel you're right, like right. It's no wrong, bro. You understand?
It's
And
because it's the agent and people that benefit from them that actually
exactly,
fan in their ego.
exactly. Because I am a hunt. I could tell you, listen, I could tell you for sure his parents tell him, listen, apologize months ago. Because I come out and tell them, I was telling the fellas in the group chat, in the Telegram group chat, Sancho is going to apologize. You know why I was saying that?
Hmm.
Because one of his relatives say, listen, his parents talked to him and they let him know for greater good he need to apologize, whether he mean it or not. Get back on the field and prove the manager wrong. But you know what he do? He listened to his agent, right? He listened to his friend, right? Because you know what? They don't have no sort of humility or pride in themselves. They don't have courage as human beings. No, I'm being honest with you. It's take a strong man to admit to admit something, to being wrong to something, whether you're wrong or not. You know.
No,
It's
but
take a strong man to take a step back, a strong human being, whether male or female. It's take a strong human being, whether whatever class of human being you are. It's take a strong human being to take a step back and admit fault or accept wrong, whether you're wrong or you're right. It's take a strong mind to do those things. And I am disappointed in Sancho. I'll continue saying that. And as Alien Ten was saying here, this is our last chance to sell Marcus Rashford for some money. We get $90 million offered for this guy
but
in
who's gonna buy?
21-22.
Who's gonna take
Bro,
Rashford off our hands?
PSG, 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 bro, it have reports right now that Al Ittifaq want to come for
Yeah,
180 million.
yeah. That was not. That was the report I was trying to get you guys to read the other day at Papi's stream about 100 and total package of 180, 85
180
million.
million, bro. I will not suggest. Listen, I think it's disrespectful to suggest Rashford to Saudi.
Oh no, no,
Yes,
no!
a
It's not.
disrespect.
It's
No,
not.
no, no.
No, no, no!
I'm
It's
being
not
honest. Listen to
disrespectful.
me.
No,
Listen to me.
no,
Listen
no,
to me.
no, 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 no!
No,
He
no.
should
Listen to
go
me.
there and earn his
Let me
money.
land. Let me land. Let me land.
Okay.
It has a certain level of footballer, right? I from the South American region, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the goal of all players from my region is to get to Europe
Mm-hmm.
because Europe is the standard,
Mm-hmm.
the level. So when they get to Europe, the aim is to get to one of the top four leagues,
Mm-hmm.
i.e., La Liga, Serie A, the
Bundesliga,
Bundesliga, or
EPL.
the Premier League,
Yeah.
right? So let me be real. So if you get into France, if you get to Belgium, or you get to Austria, or you get to the Dutch league, or you get to the French league, you're in the big time, But
Mm-hmm.
your real aim is to get to one of the top four. Because when we grew up as a young fella watching football, you're seeing Milan, Juventus, Lazio, Parma, Brescia. You're seeing La Liga teams, you know what I mean? Valencia. You know what I mean? You're seeing all these teams, Zaragoza, Real Betis, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Real Madrid, Atletico Mineiro. These teams, you're seeing Portuguese teams, you're seeing English Premier League. Right. And then from our region, my region, bro, we have more Premier League players than the United States of America coming out of the Caribbean. I just wanted to understand. It have one state in the United States that have more people than the entire Caribbean, but it have more Premier League players from the Caribbean than from the USA in
Yeah.
the Premier League history. Understand what I'm saying to you here, bro?
Yeah.
So you have to understand. You look at it. Always look at it from the perspective that when a player who playing in the Premier League, if he was to move at a certain age, Marcus Rashford is 26. I think his problem is his mentality, which he need to fix. I don't think his problem is
But he
his
ain't go. He
ability.
ain't gonna fix it anytime soon.
Well, all
It's not
right,
fixing it
but I
anytime.
wouldn't suggest him to go to Saudi because for me, Saudi is not even close
But bro,
yet. It's still developing.
what do you
No, no,
care?
no. It's not that. It's just I feel like at the end of the day, I feel like it's disingenuous to say to Bruno he should go to Saudi or to say to Rashford he should go to Saudi.
But bro,
Maybe
we
he
need
should
the
go to
money.
France.
We need the money
France.
to.
Well,
We
okay,
need the
yeah,
money
we need the money, but
to
you know
help
what
to
I mean?
build
For
the
me, a
team.
respectable league for them to move on towards
Oh, you're
is
just a
another
nice guy.
European league.
Oh, you're
You know
just
what
a
I mean?
nice
It's
guy.
like
You're a nice
it's
guy.
like the reports that LA Galaxy trying to sign for Kundo Pelestri. On
No,
what
it's,
planet's Pelestri gonna sign for you? Like you had to be crazy. Like, come on, let me be real honest about life
I
here.
know. I understand. That's why I said you. On the one hand, we want Rashford gone. On the other hand, you're trying to look out for him not to go to where
No,
my
I ain't
not.
really looking out for him, but I just showing you how you had to give footballers the respect, You know what I
I
mean?
understand.
You had to
I
get the
get you.
Premier League get respect. You had to get La Liga the respect. When a player reach on that level, bro, you had to give them their respect. Because
I get
listen,
you.
it's not easy. You know what I mean? To keep at that level week in, week out for years and years.
So
Ronaldo
what?
and Messi make it look like a joke. You know what I mean? Long time.
Mhm.
The game was always a fast game, but
No,
the
it's not
pressing,
just.
the
It,
defending wasn't as pressing. It wasn't as
eh,
combative. It
why would
had combats, but it was more. For me, like when I watch football a long time, a player could have dribbled with the ball a little more. The field was a little bit more open. You know what I mean? It had more spaces, it looked like. You know what I mean? Players didn't used to be as mobile in totality all about the pitch. It had some really fast strikers and didn't always have really fast defenders that could catch them. You know what I mean? So it was one of those things. It was like tactically, you had to be real skillful as well. Now, a lot of players, they don't have to be as skillful. And I think that kind of make the
Yeah. So
game
okay, now
go hard.
listen to what Tenor is saying. He said Rashid would end up at Inter Miami. So do you think Inter Miami is the place he should be? Would you say okay, go to Inter Miami?
Who's
I
that?
yeah, it's saying when a young player on 250K, no one tells you Jack. I know that's what I'm saying. Is it's not that nobody is there to not to tell you what to do. You tend to listen to people that would fan your ego. You understand what I'm saying? You tend to listen to people that, like, let's say, for example, in the case of Sancho, right? Now, go apologize. You did something, even if it's a fake apology. Now, he's thinking about that. Somebody reasonable is telling him that. He's thinking about it. Then the manager, his agent and his friends or his buddy comes maybe after a bottle of Moet or a bottle of Ace of Spade, and they're like, no, don't do all that. No, 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 no. They United have a contract. You're contracted to them. They can't do you anything. They still pay you your fees and all of that. And the
Yeah.
agent comes the next day and said, oh, I heard you're thinking about going to put an apology. Bro, don't put an apology. You put an apology, you're at their mercy. You can't call the shot. Right now, you have an advantage. So the agent is filling their head
With
with
rubbish.
unrealistic rubbish.
But check this out,
It's not
right?
just rubbish,
If
it's
any, and
unrealistic.
I want to, and I want to, I don't know if Alien or GB or Box will correct me when I say this, right? But if you're backing Jadon Sancho on this matter, you're not a fan of David Beckham, and you can't understand the humility, the courage, and the capabilities of that man, David Beckham. You don't
No, I
respect him,
don't think I don't
and
think
that is
Tenor
my word.
I don't think
And I'm
Tenor
saying
is
that
backing
because
Sancho to go to Inter Miami. I think he's talking about
yeah,
Rashford
no, I
going
mean,
to.
well, Bex, you know what I mean? Bex is the goat. The Bex club, you gotta support the Bex, you know what I mean? When a man could cross a ball from halfway across the beach with beach wind and put it in a bin, bro, let me tell you something, bro. Let me tell you something. That man with a ball, you know what I mean? But let me show you, as great as Beckham was, and let me tell you something, Beckham was the first superstar footballer, in my opinion. Ronaldo was the phenom, R9
Mm-hmm.
was the phenom,
I don't
right?
know. Yeah,
And then
yeah.
it
But
had
Beckham
Figo
was
and it had
this.
Zidane and them.
Yeah,
But Beckham was
was a
Beckham
superstar.
superstardom was like a different level. He was like Spice Girls and a footballer all in one, male model, everything. He was everything all in one. And that man was able to take a step back when Fergie tell him he's shit or whatever the case is, and then prove Fergie wrong on the pitch. When people, even English fans, was counting him out and had all kind of things to say about him in the media, you know what? He cut his hair low and he train hard. He get fitter and he come back like a beast. You
No,
remember that
because
season when he
guess
shaved
what?
his head?
Yeah, but
Come
guess
back like
what?
a beast.
He had his parents that he was listening to,
Mm,
one,
mm,
and
mm.
he had his own self.
Mental boss.
Yeah, he had.
Mental
Yes,
boss.
he had his own. He held his own. His point was, I'm a prove the people wrong. I made a mistake, but I'm a prove them wrong.
Yeah. Bestie, I'm talking about, this guy. George Best is a different class. To Bobby Charlton, George Best, them fellas is, legends now, man. You know what I mean? We're not talking, those guys in a different echelon.
But
You know
no,
what I mean?
but today, in today's world, I think the agents of these players actually rule them. I heard a si-
Yeah, in a
I heard
way.
I heard the case of Dele Ali, right? Heard the case of Dele Ali, right? How the agent whisked him away from his biological father. Like the father didn't know
No,
where
well,
his son
listen,
was, and so this
let
is
me tell
what
you
the agent.
something, bro.
But these
Let me tell you
players are
something, right?
okay.
Back then, you see, I remember this. Okay, yeah, I remember. Listen, the world was different without the expansion of technology or way it is now. I grew up in a time it had no internet, it had no YouTube. You know what I mean? It had
100%.
no
Yeah.
it had no cell phones. For the first 10, 12 years of my life, I never see I see it in movies. You know what I mean? But I never see a cell phone in physically. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
you gotta understand the world make a drastic change. So now all of these things, it's safe. The world is safer. Things can't be done under the table like it
No,
used to be done
I
before.
don't think the
You know what
world
I
is
mean?
safer right now,
No,
man.
but then too, you gotta remember too, back in the day, being a footballer wasn't always a sure thing. It didn't have all this money into football. So
Mm-hmm.
parents might not always want their children to study, to try to be a professional footballer. It used to be
Mm-hmm.
a hope and dream kind of thing. Now
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
football factories everywhere. You
yeah.
have opportunities. These factories link straight up to the top. So you get any auditions, you get any. Once you're really good, you gain chances. You're finding a way. And if you can't be a top player, you might become a trainer. So they have all these avenues because it has so much money in football now, right? So yeah, you'll hear all kind of crazy things. But imagine Ronaldo used to walk around with no shoes. Cristiano Ronaldo. Now he's a billionaire. Understand what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Football things is happen, and you can't always count on things from one perspective to say it negative. Maybe
I agree with
maybe the,
Ellen
the
Tenor
agent
there.
was saving Dele Ali at the time because at the time Dele Ali family was kind of abusive to him. So maybe the agent really
Bro,
was saving his
bro,
life.
if
No,
you
I'm
read,
telling you the truth, bro.
no, 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 no,
If
no,
you
no, no,
watch
no.
the story, the agent, bro.
Did you hear the father's part of the story?
Yeah, well, you see, you don't understand. That where life is breakdown when you're not trying to be responsible as a parent too.
Let's
Because
leave that.
things just happen.
Let's leave that.
Anyway, let
Let's
me
leave
move on
that.
from that
Let's
talk. But at the same time, football for me, it have its ups and downs. It have its left and it have its right, bro. But at the end of the
but
day,
you as a
it have
player,
a
you have a
genuine,
duty.
it have
You
a
have a
genuine.
duty to yourself and to the team you play for. If you There's this saying that you could fool everybody, but you can't fool yourself, right? So you have a duty to yourself first because you want to be the best you can be,
Very special guy.
right? You want to be the best
No
that you
one,
can, but when
but
and
you don't
also to
understand
the
it. Like
team.
you can't look at it like this. Like, is it like, okay, the best you can be, right? That had nothing to do with being a role model. Understand what I'm
No,
saying?
no,
And it's
I've
just
got
like, look
nothing
at
to
it
do
like
talk
this.
about.
Like
I
one
didn't
of
say
my
anything about role
favorite
model.
players growing up, right?
Hmm.
When I was a youth man, right? I don't when I was too young to really know him, but I remember my uncle always used to tell me, I used to always ask him to play the videos of this man playing football. Paolo Rossi, right?
Hmm.
And I don't know if you know about Paolo Rossi. But Paolo Rossi, right? They
Mm,
pardon him from life in prison to play in the World Cup, right?
mm,
Fly him out from jail to the World Cup. And from the time he take the field, Italy win the World Cup, bro.
mm,
The brand footballers all over the world used to wear a long time. Rossi Sports, Rossi with a ball. You know that brand?
mm.
Paolo Rossi.
Yeah.
Right. I think he had get charged for murder or some kind of craziness or some kind of madness. But they pardoned him, and football changed his life. And through football, the money he make from football and the company, he was able to change the lives of millions of people worldwide. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And to be honest, bro, it's like if we was to say, well, let we cancel him back then for that mistake he made, the lives of the people that he touched and changed and improved based on his generosity for giving back for what he did to the world, or did, or whatever the case is, would never exist. And this is
No,
the beauty
for
of
the case of
sports.
Sancho, I've said it before. Like one of the how one of the reasons why I would take him back, he has to do two things for me. Now, his performance has to go back to that level that he will have to see that, and the most importantly, now the time where he's supposed to make a fake apology has gone by. Now he has to make an apology that when we read it, we can actually see some sort of sincerity in it. And not everybody is going to pardon him back. See, listen to me. Not everybody is going to pardon. I'm saying for me, the only way I could take, for
No,
me,
well,
in my opinion,
me,
I'm a sucker for giving people second chance, right?
I
So
give him a second chance, but for
for
me, I don't
me,
care about what words he say. The
no,
words
listen
that
to
come
me.
out his mouth was never important for me. The
I
word, you know what's
understand.
important for me? The performance on the football pitch. As I being totally honest, I do not care if any one of those players just go to party, or when there is party. I don't care if they go to Dubai. I don't care if they don't eat meat, or they don't drink sugar, or they don't drink alcohol. I don't care, bro. I don't care if they don't like, big girls or small girls. I don't care about any of those things. I don't care if they love to play PlayStation, neither. You know what I care about? The performance on the football pitch. You see, if you're giving a 7.5 out of 10 every game, bro, do whatever you want to do. I do not care. Because
Well,
that doesn't
Ellen,
affect my
Ellen,
life.
Ellen Turner is just cracking. He said, Jesus said, and Jesus said, forgive your transgress.
Therefore, we are all the same. You know what I mean? Like, bro, like, in my honest
But 100%, he's right though. Like
100%.
he's right. Like if we all see, we all have a terrible mistake in us, whether we like it or not. Now
Exactly.
it's left for us. A man, like I said, a man that's on the road to redemption should first believe in himself. Should first acknowledge to himself that he has made a mistake. Because if you're not acknowledging that fact, then whatever you're doing is just nothing. You're going to do it again. You end
100%.
up making the same mistake again, maybe in a different way. But you have to acknowledge the fact that you've made a mistake. That's why I said the words for me matter, because you have to acknowledge the fact that you made a mistake, right? And you're willing to find redemption. If you don't do that, you can deceive everybody. You can deceive the fans, you can deceive your coach, but you can't deceive yourself, right? Let's move on to the Amrabat story about Amrabat leaving. So what are they saying? Are they saying, are we looking at him leaving? Reporters saying that he's going to be leaving
The
as early as
Moroccan.
this month.
Yeah, as this month
Oh
after
man.
AFCON end. Well, AFCON ends in February 14th, but they might, be the transfer window ends, I think, the first week in February or something like that.
Hmm.
I can't remember, to be
I
fair.
think this
But
30. I think it's on the third, I believe. I
yeah,
can't
so I
remember.
believe that they're gonna, cancel his loan from now, and I guess you'd have to have his stuff collected or something like that. I don't know how that gonna work, but to be honest,
No,
like, I'm not too
what's the point?
surprised.
What's the
I'm not
point? Can
surprised.
No, what's the
I'm not
point?
surprised.
It doesn't make any sense
Does make
canceling.
sense.
No, wait,
It
no.
saves 4 million. It saves 4 point something million, and it opens up the transfer the spending budget and the wages to allow to bring in a striker. And I think this is what I go and say right now. I think Amrabat leaving means we gain Paulo Dybala. I just want to put that out there, and I think that's 100% big switch that is going to
So
do pay dividend.
wait. The only way out. Yeah, I feel sorry for Amrabat, right? Yeah, I
I
feel he
feel
was.
sorry for him too, bro. Like I being honest, like,
He should
but at the
have.
same time,
Who,
I'm being real. I go and be real and honest. We
which
should have
English
never go in for
which
Amrabat.
English club actually was looking to him? He should have just gone there because it wasn't looking like we were.
Liverpool,
No, no. Other than
Fulham,
Liverpool, there was somebody. Yeah, I think it was Fulham looking at him. Right, he would
yeah,
have got. He would have gotten more game time because at
bro.
United, it feels. Honestly, I'll say this and I'll say it right. Oh, I don't care. I don't know what people think, right? But I'm saying I don't think he's a United player. It's not. He
No, like I
himself.
mean, I like him, right? Like, okay,
No,
let me
he
explain you
is.
this, right? It have a lot of players in Syria and in the Bundesliga. I just watch and I feel like might be cool to have them at United,
Oh,
But then
backup player?
but then
Yes.
yeah, but then I just wake up and say to myself, you know what? At United, as if they could handle the pressure. At United, a lot of people wouldn't see the positives of their play style. They will see the negatives. They show up too clear. It's like Joshua Kimmich. Everybody talking raving about Joshua Kimmich right now, possibly going to Man City. Oh, the league is finished. It's going to be a joke. You know, bro, Joshua Kimmich looks fatter than Harry Maguire and slower than Luke Shaw this season. He looks like Matic settings right now. This season, Joshua Kimmich has been Matic
Get,
21-22
oh,
season.
guess who's coaching them? Tuchel. I don't think Tuchel has it. I never wanted that guy at United though, but I don't know. Maybe there must be a reason why he's like that because he's got a new coach who doesn't really care. I don't know. I don't rate Tuchel. Not like I don't rate him. He's done his best, but I don't
Why
want
we
him.
didn't have Liverpool take Mount, boy? Hey, listen. Yeah, buy
No,
Kudus from West Ham. But Kudus is player of the
what's up
wing.
with this? What's up with this Kudus thing, man? I don't want to hear this.
I
I'm
mean,
tired of hearing this
not really,
Kudus,
yeah, but
Kudus,
look,
Kudus,
listen,
Kudus, Kudus.
honestly,
What has Kudus
bro,
done?
I
What has
will see
Kudus done
Dan
that we
go.
act?
I will see Dan go play next to Kobe Mean. I,
Kudus is
I,
supposed to play. Kudus is
that
supposed to
is
play
my
off the wing,
midfield I
right?
want to see. Hmm.
Kudus is supposed to play off the wing. You buy
Hmm.
Kudus in, we're going to be forcing him to play maybe an 8 or box to box guy,
But he
which
used
is
to play at 8. He used to play at 8 for Ajax mostly.
he
You need
used
to.
to,
He
but he's
started playing
more.
off the wing for Ajax when this fella got injured, and then they sold Anthony.
He is more to me. That guy is more suited off the wing, right? And the truth is, nobody is going now. Look at what Ten Hag is doing. Ten Hag has finally decided to move Garnacho to the right wing, so the beloved Rashford could have game time.
I don't know why people say they love Rashford. The only player Ten
So
Hag spoke about in his press
what do you want us to
conference he
say?
wanted
What do
to
you want
work
us
with
to
was
say?
Mason Greenwood. So I don't
What
know
do you
why
want
people
us?
is be talking,
What
trying
do
to
you want
shoehorn
us to
Rashford as,
say?
huh?
Because now the fans, Rashford, the beginning of the season, Rashford wasn't producing. He kept playing him on when you should have
Yes,
rotated that
but
spot
this
between
is
himself. Wait, now
listen.
listen,
You all
between
forget
himself
the
and
biggest problem, right? You all forget the biggest problem, right? Because Tenno, you is my brother, Tenno. Because this is the fella that the manager wanted all summer, and they went and they buy Mason Mount. You'd have get he for 23 million. You'd have save a 40 million. You're going and buy Mason Mount. All I saying to you is this, my brother, Drex, my other bro. What I have to say is this, right? Now, while I understand that it's all kind of issues that's come about, and the manager
Mhm.
could only do so much. It has some things for me that just don't work out. You know what I mean? It just don't make sense. You know what I mean? And Marcus Rashford for me is the poster boy at Manchester United, not Ten Hag. He is the poster boy at Manchester United by Manchester United. He's been the poster boy for the last 2 seasons. Let me ask you a question.
Wait, no,
I
press.
wanted
Hold
to
on,
hear.
hold
I
on,
wanted to hear
hold
him
on.
on this one, right?
Okay, I want to take a 20. I want to put a 20 on GB. GB is on my GB. I put a 20. I don't think is gonna go this summer. I put a
Bro,
20 on that
Rashford
one.
going. Rashford going. Bro, I bet
Where is he
money.
going? Who's gonna
Listen to
go?
me. Forget that. Listen to me. Let me tell you
Go
something, right?
back. Yeah, go back to
Sir
your question that you wanted to
Brailford.
ask. Mhm.
Anytime, sir. Let me tell you something. Sir Jim coming to United is the worst thing for Rashford and Luke Shaw. Harry Maguire spent his season around this season. Just remember, I tell you that. And that is why it will be negative for Rashford and Luke Shaw. Because everybody making excuses for Rashford. Everybody talking about he needs Luke Shaw to play better. He has a better feeling with Luke
I
Shaw,
hate that statement
right?
when a player
But he
needs another
doesn't
player to do
always
well.
play with Luke Shaw for England, and he's always on point. He would have a shit game for United today. 2 days later, he's starring for England, buddy.
Because he's not. You
Starring.
know why? You know why he does that? You know why he does that? Because he doesn't have a spot locked down. If we do the same thing at United, I think he's going to learn. Right now, it
How you
feels
would
like
do that when the board in love with him? The board put Rashford above 4 managers, bro. And how many other players? The board put Rashford ahead of Jadon Sancho. Last season, you know why we did not buy Cody Gakpo? A lot of people feel it's because we didn't have money to buy Cody Gakpo. Right? We didn't buy Cody Gakpo because he would be threatening Marcus Rashford's position at left wing. Why would we do that? Buy someone to be competition for the poster boy.
so.
This is the club.
Is this the same poster boy that you all think is gonna get sold in the summer?
With Sir Jim and Sir Brailsford doing the audit? Yeah. Because
Okay,
listen,
okay. Let's wrap up
and this
this
is
stream.
with me
Okay.
saying, as much as I want Anthony to be given another season time to
Mhm.
bed in and gel, Anthony might be, looked at as inconsistent. And no one is more inconsistent than Marcus Rashford. And if you're telling me one season, 30 goals, go and make Sir Brailsford look at that and say, well, listen, you playing in this league 9 years now. One season you scored more than almost 20 Premier League goals. Almost. Because he never scored 20 Premier League goals.
And don't forget, it's the same season he was looking to get the contract
New
renewal, right?
contract, right?
Okay.
And every time, bro, also Brailsford go and do is ask him about 21-22 season. Because he just signed his second contract then. And he was 3 goals, 4 assists all season. His excuses was, he wasn't, the focal point. He's blamed Ronaldo. And everybody was cool with that. Because
Bro,
everybody
let's
blamed Ronaldo too. So it's like, in my honest opinion, bro, you can't play with top
no,
strikers in world football and not get 20
listen,
assists. Listen to
one
me,
of
bro.
the I'm gonna
You can't play
disagree
next to
respectfully.
Ronaldo, Zlatan, and Cavani and never get more than 10 assists, bro. That is mad. That is insane. Think about that, bro. I just wanted to sit down and think about this for a second. Close your eyes and think about all the wingers that you know in the Premier League. And you put them next to Ronaldo, Zlatan, and Cavani, right?
Mm-hmm.
And tell me which one of them not getting 20 goals, 20 assists in that season. 38 games, 20 assists from them fellas. Them is goal monsters, bro. And that is why I don't rate Marcus Rashford, because he's
No, I
not a
don't.
winger.
One of the reason why what nailed it for me was the season where we got that Ole was sacked and Raf Ragnick came in as the interim, right? When he was just walking out on the pitch, I'm like, I left it. I'm like, no man, this guy is not the
That's
player
why I
for me.
say what I
This
say.
guy
It's
is not.
time.
Then only to
And I,
see him the next season running. So it was so obvious that he was playing for a contract renewal, and maybe the board told him like, "Yo, you have to do something to end this contract. If not, we're gonna sell you. The fans would want you to be sold, and we would do that." I don't know, but I like we're gonna wait and see, right? We're
see
gonna
what's
wait and
happened.
see what happens in the summer because I just still I don't
I think,
I'm talking from the place of not having trust in the board
yeah, well,
until they prove me wrong.
Brailsford, Brailsford. I try. Let me tell you something. It has certain. Listen to me. It has certain men. They have a certain sense of integrity. Is about the mindset, right? And his whole persona is built off of that. Minimal improvements to get major gains, right?
Hmm.
He's a man that have a certain process in his head. He will be like, listen, here. He give you this advice, and see how it impact and see if it work. And if it work, and expect you to take it to the next level, right? And he
Hmm.
will be assessing you silently, silent killer vibes, right? And these are the kind of people they need. You mightn't like him, because he's a smiling assassin. He will smile and laugh and shake your hand here like, hey, hey, hey. And in the back of his mind, you're fired already, and you don't even know it. You know what I mean? No, I'm telling you the truth.
All
That's the
right,
kind of man you need in the club.
let's draw the curtain now.
He's ruthless.
Rashi can't play centrally wait. She can't play centrally. All front players should be able to play left, center, right equally as well. But the one time
100%.
Rashi played centrally, this is when he started centrally this season, he scored a goal. And that was against
But
Nottingham
look at
Forest.
this. People look at this right like this, right? People
No, of
talk
course
about
he's
Rashford
not.
as a left winger, right?
He's not
No.
physically.
Hear my argument this. Hear my argument here, right? People say Rashi bagged 30 goals, right? Last season, right? Where he was playing last season? Through the middle, right?
Yeah.
Right. Best season of his entire career, right? What I say to you, he's a striker. He had to convert. He had to learn and convert. Because the wing is not for him. His mentality is a striker mentality.
But he keeps saying that the wing is where he wants to play.
Yeah, because he can't fuffle. He ain't too bright. I'm not trying to be the offensive, but he ain't too bright.
No, of course he's not.
He's a very talented fella. He has a lot of ability.
Bro,
he need to be a striker, convert to a striker. If he convert to a striker, now he have time to maintain his level, and maybe in a year time be a top striker. But right now, if he stays as a left winger, for me, he could only see himself moving to PSG in the summer.
He doesn't know how to initiate no press. If he stays as a striker, he just lets the manager's plan go into the bin. That's it. He doesn't know how to. So yeah, that I think the Amrabat thing is actually, it came to me as a shock, right? I just hope there's no truism in that. But if it is what it is. We just have to move on. But my problem is, yet again, McTominay is outlasting a capable hand in the team. I just don't get how he does it. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. 3-5-2 formation. Rashi's best. Even at that, Rashi will still be too selfish, in my opinion. He doesn't know how to play a team sport. I think Rashi should be playing. He should be playing lawn tennis. He should be playing tennis. That's one of. He should be playing tennis or dart. Those are the games where he would actually thrive in, right? He doesn't know how to play team sport, and he should just forget about it. Against Wigan, he was doing too much dribbling, trying to take on. Like, it's not coming off. It's not coming off. Why you keep doing?
Dribbling? Bro, this man kicked the ball into a man so many times. I thought, I swear, as I got above, I thought the ball was transisting through people. Because I thought he was taking in this moment, he was counting the timing between the shifts. And when he kicked it, it would shift through the guy and end up in the back of the net. Because he kicked that guy with the ball about 10 times. I thought he was going to get a yellow card from the referee for abuse. Because he just kicking it at the man, like, bang, bang. Like, what the man do you? He ain't doing nothing. He just kicking the ball at him. Right through. Bro, yeah, I'm talking full Trini, I'm mad right now.
So last time Rashid dribbled, he was 6 months old.
Alien.
Bro, let's end the stream, man.
Alien, if you have some time tomorrow evening, same time as this evening, we're gonna do the preview for the game on Sunday tomorrow with Drex and I at 9:30 UK time. So if you have time, Alien, I would like you to join us. I'll send you the link, and you can jump in whenever you're ready and give your say, my bro. It would be nice to have you and have your presence. My buddy. So if you have time tomorrow, bro, around 9:30 UK time, let me know and jump in the stream, bro. Thank you for always being here, bro. And bro, the man said the last time you was dribbled, he was 6 months old. Alien.
Oh my days.
So, Drex, last but not least, the final topic, because we was bantering, talking rubbish. So, Jim Ratcliffe, master stroke, ingenious, or plain and simple, any fan could see. He plans to invest 300 million to give United a war chest for the summer. But there's some targets that might be available, and we may not have to go through a bidding war
No,
in the
but
summer
but
for them
but
if we get
but
them now.
but the
So
300 million is the 300 million is he into the playing squad, or this guy's comment is still in my head. My God, the 300 million, the
it's, well,
300
okay,
million,
well,
is it into the playing squad or is into
Albert, now go and
infrastructure?
explain that. So basically,
Okay.
as per FFP ruling, right, as of
Mm-hmm.
today, if United were to invest, let's say 50 million or 100 million into a new training facility, which they are currently about to start building in the next 6 weeks, something like that, they were saying, right? Then that is going to affect the
The
FFP.
revenue. Mm-hmm.
And what is going to happen is, say you spend, let's say you spend 60 million on the facility, it's going to
Mm-hmm.
knock off 80 to 95 million off of FFP. So now
Oh, okay.
you have that now additive money to spend in this
Mm.
market. And if Sir Jim puts 300 million of his own money into the club, which he don't have to do it all at once, he just need to put 100 he just need to put $100 million into the club by June 30th, 2024, midnight, and we would have the room to spend 300 to 400 million pounds.
Okay. Okay. Until
But
then, let's
here
say
the
may the day break. That's all.
guys, here the catch 22 to this, right? And I don't think it's a bad idea. He's going to
Of course
focus
not.
on a homegrown core base of talent, and which I
Don't
think is amazing.
miss me
And
with
this is
that one.
why I'm really happy that we are getting Paul Mitchell, because the homegrown based talent doesn't mean only English. And that's most happy for me because, Dwight York would never play at Manchester United if it was only English players because he's from Trinidad and Tobago, where I'm from. So it's one of those things for me that, I think a lot of people might think it's just going to be English players, but for me, I think if it's homegrown players, and it doesn't matter where they come from, because we have lots of talented players at the academy, quite a few of them from Trinidad and Tobago, as well as Jamaica, China, Japan, Russia. We have some youths there from Germany, from Iceland. There's two youngsters from Iceland right now. There's guys from Norway. You know what I mean? Africa. There's lots of talented youngsters from across the globe, even from the USA, in our club at this moment. So, you know, what are your thoughts?
My take is the only thing I know. This is the hopes are killed, right? The only thing I have is my only consolation to all of this Sajim thing is the fact that he's a businessman and an astute one for that. So he would want to do everything in his power to make this project, whether we like to call it a vanity project or something different, whatever the name we're giving to the project, he would want to make sure this particular project at United is a success. So that is the glimmer of hope I'm holding on to, that I would think, all right, that I would think that's making me feel like, okay, there's something to look forward to, right? There's something to look forward to. So until then, I'm holding on to that fact that I feel like he's a businessman, a good one. He didn't get to where he is, or yeah, at the moment, just by sheer luck. He actually did his own, due
Yeah,
diligence,
he
and he
did his
put in the
thing.
effort. And so that's my take. Whatever it is, I'm not gonna be too criticizing. At the same time, I'm not going to be too what's the word now, happy about, or try to be overtly positive about him or overtly negative. I'm just going to be in the middle and just hold on to that
100%.
hope. Yeah.
And to end the show, my guys, I'm gonna agree with Alien Telling here, except for the first name, because
I don't think Shola is that
I
good.
think he's rubbish. I think he should be.
Shola is the same thing as McTominay. They will take up space. That's
Yeah.
it.
No, but yeah, something like that. But Forsen, look out for Mari Forsen, guys. He has got the fifth most game time of all of our players, including senior players, since this, you know, pre, since the pre season match days, guys.
Hmm.
Bennett and Kwambala are currently training with the first team senior team squad at the moment for the last 6 weeks. Kwambala even longer. So, guys, look forward.
I
We all
think
know
we should.
Forsen has been
I
training with
think we
the
should
first
send
team since
Shola
last summer.
send Shola to Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, you could
Shalan,
sell Shola.
Shalan, not if you don't want to sell him, you can actually loan him. But I feel like sell
I'd loan him
Shala.
to Luton Town, to be fair, because I think Luton
Yeah,
Town
something
could do
like
with
that.
a
Yeah,
player of his
yeah, yeah,
talents. You
yeah.
know, and guys, help me thank Drex for being here tonight, giving me the time.
One
He's usually
second.
very busy.
Jarvis
Jarvis
is
coming in late.
it's the
Is
Glazers
the
leaking this
Glazers
guy.
leaking this guff? We've heard this war chest bullshit 100 times before. Why would Ratcliffe go out to tell the media that we're going to spend 300 million?
You,
Jarvis, I'm just reading the news, bro. I don't actually be.
because what I
That's why I
heard
said
this
Glazernomics.
this 300 million, we read it. I think it was Meek the other day. Meek was doing his show, and I was like,
Hmm.
Meek actually pointed it out, like he was going to pledge 300 million into infrastructure, and it wasn't going to be like a one-time thing. It was going to do like a 200 and later 100. I'm like, okay. So the media, see, the British media, I don't know, no disrespect to them, they just like to spin everything in the
Everything
favor
into a
of
positive.
this guy, right?
Just
I'm
remember,
telling
I
you
said
now.
it at the
I'm telling
bottom of
you,
the last bet you see in Winter Window
yeah,
Glazonomics. Just
Glosonomics,
remember
yeah.
that, Jarvis.
At the if it was a different scenario, let's say the Qataris came in, my days, it would have been the media onslaught would have been too much. You'd be hearing things
Yeah,
that we haven't heard in our lives before.
bro.
They'll bring it to light as though it's gospel. That's what they're trying to do. That's why I'm saying
Exactly.
the only thing I'm holding on to is not all of this pledge and all of these promises. I'm just holding on to the fact that this guy is a businessman and would want to do everything for his own project to succeed. Does that mean it will succeed? I can't tell. Does that mean it wouldn't? I can't tell. I'm just holding on to that little fact that he's a businessman. He would try to do everything in his power to make best. But guess what? If he doesn't succeed, the Glazers will kick him out and look for somebody else to take the fall. That's how I see it. Big up, Stephanie. Big up. I really appreciate you all. I appreciate everybody for tuning in and joining us. Even if we were talking, most of the time we were just saying rubbish, rubbish. And like
I argue
it's
as
so
usual.
it's so refreshing, and it's so we're very honored to actually have people just there listening to us and just taking time out of their, because time is precious, man. Taking time out
Yeah,
of your day to actually watch us and listen to us is so, we don't take it lightly. We actually do appreciate you guys. It's an honor to have you guys watch us and listen to us and actually drop your comment, because your comment actually makes us keep us going. Big up Jarvis. We're just taking a cue from you, Jarvis. Your show
big up
is, you
Jarvis.
know how
Oh,
to do it.
Jarvis. I mean, I'm not sure if you're busy on Friday. During. I mean, on. Jarvis, if you're not busy tomorrow evening, man, I think you should join me. I wanted to ask you some tactical questions. I just forgot that, Friday it got happy hour and you might have stuff to do, and Saturday, is the preview for the show. So if you have time tomorrow night, Jarvis, maybe 10 p.m. UK time, join me and so I could ask you some tactical questions, because you're the resident tactical.
Oh, he's the tactic. He's the
He is the
tactician.
tactical master,
He's the
of
tactician.
of our group, in my
I don't know
opinion.
why.
I
I don't
think
know why.
Jarvis'
I
tactical
don't.
acumen is
I
amazing.
think it should get Ten Hag to listen to him, man. Like Jarvis.
Big up
Yeah,
Danny
big up,
B.
Danny. Big up. All right, thank you guys. We wouldn't want to take much of your time. It's already what? Oh, an hour, 30 minutes. We've been
Yeah, we were
chatting.
on
We've
here
been
for so
chatting.
long
Oh
already.
my
Guys, thank
days,
you for
man.
joining us.
Big
It's
up
been
to
a
everybody.
pleasure to
They have
entertain
a
you
good
tonight.
night.
And thank you
Have
for
a good
Alien for
night.
all the jokes. Oh,
Okay.
Stu and
Yeah, oh,
Witterbird.
that's true. That's true.
Whoa,
That's true. Yeah,
cool. I
yeah,
forgot
yeah,
about that. Oh, well,
yeah.
Jarvis, we could do it Friday or something, or Saturday if you have the time, man. Have a great day, guys. Cheers for everyone getting in. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can see when we're live again. And don't forget to check out D Hub Sports and smash the like and subscribe button there as well. You can catch my buddy Drex there sometimes when he's not with me. But I'm always gonna drag him on this channel whenever every chance I get. Thank you for coming in, my bro.
All right, not
I'm
a
gonna
problem.
catch
My
up with you a
pleasure.
little
My
bit later.
pleasure.
And guys, as we close the show, it's your boy Mark, NMSU fan, thanking you all for being here. Drex, you are awesome, my bro. I'm always glad to have you on the stream with me because I get to ask you lots of questions and argue with you. It's so much fun, bro. 12 likes, Stephanie Griffith. Thanks so much. You're always MVPing my streams. You're always here first and always checking the likes. And now I'm getting more than 10 likes on average a stream, and I think it's a lot to do with your help. Thank you so much. Have a great evening, guys. Like and subscribe. Don't forget, we all love Manchester United. You know, they can hate us. They will always adore us and always want to be us every single day, because they grew up, you know, and all they saw was United winning trophies. We got all the legends. We're the biggest club in the English Premier League, guys. 100%. It's my word. Catch you guys later.
Oh.